Why your home became an economic weapon for moms. The coffee had gone cold again. Another morning, balancing the noise of the house and the quiet question she kept avoiding. Can I really build something of my own? The laundry basket sat full. The dishes waited, and somewhere between the chaos and the silence, a different kind of hunger was growing. She wasn't chasing millions, just freedom, the kind that fits between nap times and school pickups, the kind that doesn't require permission slips or explanations to anyone but herself. But every time she opened her laptop, the doubt crept in, louder than her kids ever could. Part of her still felt guilty for wanting more, as if ambition had to disappear when motherhood began. As if the two couldn't coexist in the same breath, the same body, the same day. Society had drawn the line for her, long before she even knew she wanted to cross it. But something was shifting. Not just in her, everywhere. The world had quietly rewritten the rules, and homes were no longer just places to raise children. They were becoming launchpads, economic engines, quiet revolutions happening one kitchen counter at a time. What would you have done in her place? She scrolled through her phone one evening after the kids were asleep. Stories of women like her building businesses from spare bedrooms, turning hobbies into income streams, reclaiming pieces of themselves they thought were gone forever. It wasn't the success that caught her attention. It was the familiarity of their starting points. The mess, the doubt, the fear of failing in front of everyone who said she should just be grateful for what she already had. But the idea didn't come from a business book, it came from the mess on her kitchen table. A half-finished craft project, a problem she'd solved for herself, that maybe, just maybe, someone else needed too. According to recent studies, small home-based businesses led by women are growing 40% faster than other segments. Proof that clarity often beats capital. The barriers that once kept mothers out of entrepreneurship were crumbling. Technology had democratized access. The internet had flattened geography. And suddenly, her living room had the same potential as any office building downtown. She smiled, not because it was easy, but because it was finally hers. The first idea she considered was digital products, templates, guides, planners, designed for people who understood the specific chaos of her life. No inventory, no shipping, just knowledge packaged into something useful. She'd spent years organizing her own systems, budgets that fit unpredictable schedules, meal plans that survived picky eaters, routines that bent without breaking. Why couldn't that be worth something to someone else? She opened a blank document and started typing. The words came slower than she expected, but they came. And with each sentence, the voice in her head that said she had nothing valuable to offer grew a little quieter. Then came the doubt, the kind that whispers louder than failure. Maybe success just wasn't meant for someone like her. Maybe the women she saw online had something she didn't. More time, more money, more support, more luck. Maybe she was fooling herself into thinking a few hours after bedtime could compete with people who had entire teams and years of experience. She almost gave up until one message changed everything. A friend from an old mom group reached out asking if she still had that organizing system she'd shared years ago. Someone else needed it, badly, and suddenly, the thing she thought was too simple, too obvious, to her became exactly what someone else was searching for. That's when she realized the truth. Her home wasn't a limitation, it was her advantage. Every problem she'd solved in that space, every system she'd built between diaper changes and conference calls, every moment of figuring it out on her own, that was her curriculum. That was her business school. The mess was the lesson plan all along. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress, it looks like staying. She started small, a free resource to test the idea, a simple landing page she built during nap time using templates she found online. She shared it in a few groups where she knew other moms were struggling with the same things, and then she waited. The first download came at 2 in the morning while she was up with her youngest. Then 3 more by breakfast. By the end of the week, over 100 people had taken something she created and found it useful enough to save. Not life-changing numbers, but proof. Proof that her voice mattered. Proof that her experience had value. Proof that she didn't need a business degree or a marketing budget to help someone else. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter, but it no longer felt like chaos. It felt like possibility. The second business model she explored was service-based work that fit her skills. Virtual assistants, social media management for small businesses, bookkeeping for other solopreneurs, freelance writing, graphic design. The beauty of these paths was their flexibility. She could start with one client, test her capacity, and scale at her own pace. No one was asking her to quit motherhood. They were asking her to show up as both, fully, unapologetically, on her own terms. She reached out to 3 small business owners she admired and offered to help with one project each, just to see, just to learn, just to prove to herself she could do it. 2 said yes, and that was enough. The work was harder than she expected, not because of the tasks themselves, but because of the mental load of managing it all. Switching between mom mode and work mode dozens of times a day. Learning to set boundaries with clients when her toddler was melting down in the background. Figuring out how to price her time when she wasn't even sure what her time was worth anymore. But she kept going. Not because it was smooth, not because it was easy, but because for the first time in years, she felt like herself again. Not just a mom, not just a partner, not just someone managing everyone else's needs. She felt like someone building something that mattered to her and to others. What would you have done in her place? The third path she considered was teaching what she already knew. Online courses, coaching calls, memberships for communities of women navigating the same transitions she had. She hesitated at first. Who was she to teach anyone anything? But then she remembered all the times she'd Googled solutions at 3 in the morning and found nothing that actually fit her reality. The advice was always written for people with more time, more help, or fewer responsibilities. No one was speaking to mothers trying to build something between the cracks of an already full life. So she became that voice. She started recording short videos on her phone, no fancy setup. No script, just her talking through what worked and what didn't. She posted them in a private group she'd created for women in similar seasons. The response was immediate. Not because she had all the answers, but because she was honest about not having them. She shared her failures as openly as her wins. And that honesty became her credibility. Within 3 months, 50 women had joined her membership. Within 6, it was over 200. The income wasn't replacing a full-time salary yet, but it was covering groceries. It was paying for the kids' activities. It was giving her a sense of financial independence she hadn't felt since before her first child was born. She smiled, not because it was easy, but because it was finally hers. The shift wasn't just financial, it was emotional, psychological. She started seeing herself differently. Not as someone who had given up her career for her family, but as someone who had built a new kind of career because of her family. The skills she'd dismissed as just mom stuff, time management, crisis resolution, emotional intelligence, creative problem solving, were exactly what made her good at this. Her home had become her headquarters, her kitchen table, her boardroom, her phone, her office line, and the hours between 8 p.m. and midnight, her most productive work time. It wasn't glamorous. It didn't look like the entrepreneurship she'd imagined before kids, but it was real, and it was working. Then came the doubt, the kind that whispers louder than failure. People started asking questions. Friends who didn't understand why she was working so hard when she didn't have to. Family members who worried she was neglecting her kids or her marriage. Even strangers online who felt entitled to comment on how she was spending her time. The guilt returned. Not because she was doing anything wrong, but because the world still wasn't used to seeing mothers claim space for themselves without apology. She wrestled with it. Some days she almost stopped, almost deleted everything and went back to the safety of invisibility. But then she remembered why she started. Not for approval, not for permission, but for herself. For the version of her that her kids would one day look at and see not just a caretaker, but a creator, a builder. Someone who showed them that transformation doesn't require abandoning who you are, it requires becoming more of it. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress, it looks like staying. What helped her the most wasn't just discovering the right tools, it was realizing she didn't need permission to start small. She tested different platforms before finding what truly worked, and honestly, it changed everything. Simple things like a good planner to track her time, a reliable microphone for recording, even a basic online course that taught her how to structure her offers. These weren't magic solutions, but they removed just enough friction to make progress possible. This isn't a promotion, just something that made her path a little lighter. If you're in that same season of trying to figure out how to build something without losing yourself in the process, those small investments in your own infrastructure can shift everything. She left the links below in case it helps someone else the way it helped her. Disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only and does not replace consultation or assistance from a professional. Always consult a qualified professional for any questions related to finance, business, or investments. But the real transformation wasn't about tools or tactics, it was about identity. She stopped waiting for the perfect moment, the moment when the kids were older, when she had more time, when she felt more ready. She realized the perfect moment was a myth designed to keep people like her from ever starting. So she started messy, started scared, started anyway, and in doing so, she joined a quiet revolution happening in homes all over the world. Mothers who were redefining what work looks like, what success means, what's possible when you stop trying to fit into someone else's version of a life and start building your own. The statistics were starting to reflect it. Women-owned businesses were launching at record rates, with home-based models leading the way. The economy was shifting, and mothers were at the center of it, not because they had to be, but because they chose to be, because they realized their homes weren't prisons keeping them from opportunity. They were foundations strong enough to build from. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter, but it no longer felt like chaos. It felt like possibility. It felt like power. It felt like hers. When she poured her coffee the next morning, it was still hot, because this time, she wasn't rushing. She was building something that fit her life instead of forcing her life to fit something else. Building something her kids would see and remember. Building something that proved you don't have to choose between being a mother and being yourself. You just have to be brave enough to believe both can be true at the same time. The path isn't the same for everyone. Some mothers will choose digital products, others will offer services. Some will teach, some will create, some will combine all of it into something entirely their own. But the thread connecting every story is the same. The decision to start, the courage to build, the refusal to believe that motherhood is the end of ambition instead of the beginning of a different kind. Your home isn't a barrier, it's your launchpad, your advantage, your economic weapon. Not because it's easy to work from home with children, but because the skills you've built in that space are exactly what the new economy needs. Adaptability, resilience, creativity under constraint. The ability to build something from nothing while managing chaos with grace. That's not just motherhood. That's entrepreneurship in its purest form. Tell us what part of her story resonated with you most and where you're watching from. Your journey might just inspire the next one. Every beginning starts with someone believing it's possible. Maybe today, that someone is you. Tell us which country or city you're watching from. See you in the next video. Bye.